Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Yes, my microphone is shit. I just moved to a new apartment and I don't have my normal one, so the headset mic, it's this or no show this week. However, that's not what we're here to talk about. I know we just talked about it last week, but we gotta talk about how we were just wrong about everything this week. Ultimate Prog is still ongoing, and my initial idea for a world first show this week did not really pan out. So let's talk about what the groups are actually up to in Ultimate Unending Coil and get some updates on our thoughts after what we had to say last week. I am one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Poverum. Of course, joining me is Sly, aka Slythefox, aka Sly, aka Agrefox, aka you, my boy Blue. How you doing?
What's up, bitches?
Oh my god. That's so, for anyone who's watching this on YouTube, that's a reference to the meme that Wolf created this week. It's basically answers with me as the Warrior of Light, Sly's a Paladin for some reason, which we know will never actually happen.
No. God, no.
Yoshi P as Louis Swa saying, you asked for this. And then Bahamut shows up and he says, what's up, bitches? And that's actually a very accurate representation of Prog.
It's just it's missing Nail and Twin, of course.
No, we don't need them. We don't need them.
But they're involved.
They're involved, but like we can't add. I mean, we could just add two-dimensional cutouts of them over it, I suppose. But
and then like what, 5 other dragons?
Yeah, well, you know, those 5 dragons we'll get to talk about a little bit today. So Sly, I don't think we've done a show like this where we've literally taken the same topic and hit it 2 weeks in a row. I don't think we've ever done this.
Oh, well, we might have. It's been a while.
We've had the same topic come up 2 weeks in a row. I don't think we've ever had a show that's actually about the same thing.
Right.
Like, and no variance whatsoever. Like, other things have happened, and we'll touch on those, like the announcement for the Chinese return of the Final Fantasy XI event.
Right.
But we need to still talk about Ultimate, Sly, because now we look like fools, both of us.
Yep. And if you're wondering, Ultimate hasn't been cleared yet. We're totally fucking wrong. Mike reminded me that my original guess of one day, I switched it to a week, and that's still wrong. So we're both wrong as fuck.
I was way more wrong, dude. At the third day, I was like, someone's gonna post that they beat it. All the quiet groups are way further. And I'm not wrong about that based on what we're going to talk about today. But I'd also say it's an injustice to say that I'm right about it at the same time. So at some point I'm going to turn this light on, by the way, because the sun's starting to go down and the camera's starting to look a little dark. And I don't actually have a proper light in this room yet. I have the box light and my bathroom light, and that's it. I don't actually have like a lamp for this place. So we were wrong. The reason why we're doing the show the same topic 2 weeks in a row, Sly. I was like, as soon as a group wins, I'll ask them to be on next Tuesday's show, and then we'll be good. We got 2 shows in a row.
Yay! How did that pan out?
Well, Sly, what are we talking about right now?
We're talking about being wrong as fuck and everything that's going on today. You're going to see a lot of
clips.
Footage. Let's just call it footage. Some will be memes. There are a lot of memes out there, trust and believe. But yeah, we got a lot of material to go through.
Well, we do and we don't at the same time. We hit a lot of the big topics last week about Ultimate regarding its effect on the community. But there's one thing I'm going to pull up in a little bit, and it's something that Frosty went out of his way to share recently. That was on Twitter, and it's how do you call this? It's a graph of how raiders feel about content as they're progging on it. This was on Reddit maybe a week ago. Right. And in response to some of the tweets about the later phases of the fight, Frosty shared that. And I'm going to pull this up on the stream, Sly, and then when it catches up, I want you to let me know how accurate you think this chart is. So let me pull it up right here. So here's this chart. So average Final Fantasy XIV raider mentality towards raids. So it starts off with live letter, and it's like, ooh. And then you remember the creator. You remember a creator, and you're like, oh, this is gonna suck. And then you have like the day before the release, you're kind of like back at ooh. And then the content's released, you're like, this is the greatest thing that ever happened. And then before even clearing, it's just like SE learned to make content. It just goes all the way down.
But are we really at that mentality right now where it's like SC learn to make content. No, everybody like they're depressed would be the wrong word.
You haven't been reading some of the tweets in the last 5 or 6 hours, because I think in the last 5 or 6 hours is where they finally hit that point.
But I wouldn't necessarily say depressed. When we get to the point where people actually start clearing, I think you'll get a positive outlook on how this turned out, rather than, oh, this was it, kind of after what Omega was. So yeah, it's down in the dumps right now, but once people actually start clearing, like you'll get SC will get a standing ovation for what the fuck they do.
So okay, well we'll save that topic for a little bit later into the show. So last week we kind of ended our discussion about the fight itself at 7th Umbral Era. Now I have seen all the way through the second phase, though not cleanly at this point, and you only had 1 day of prog, so you didn't really get too much, and you're going to be going in again this week. So
Thursday.
That's where you and I stand in terms of prog. And by the way, anyone watching, if you need a melee DPS for phase 2 into 3rd phase, I'm still looking on either. Yep. So,
now I don't know. I have to talk to my squad, but they might be in 2nd phase. I'll have to talk to them and see.
Yeah, because they filled for you last Thursday, didn't they?
Yeah, they filled for me. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
they have 2 other days to do stuff.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. There's plenty of new stuff waiting for you. So the big topic this week is going to be the Bahamut phase, because that's we've seen through Tintania, we've seen through Nail, and last week we spoke about 7th Umbral Era, which is the phase transition. Now, it's gonna take me a few minutes. Basically, what I'm gonna be doing is there's been lots of groups streaming it. Amongst one of the more popular ones is a team that's emerged, and I believe specifically it's not 5150. That's not the name of the group. It's like 5150 or something like that. Like they say the number differently. I call them 5150 because I'm dumb. And they've been streaming basically all of their prog. They've been going through the Bahamut phase and the trios. So I was like, oh, you know what? Perfect. I can just like grab clips from their live stream, and then we can kind of go through the mechanics. Because I was looking all over, all the Reddit posts with all the trios and the gifs, literally couldn't find them. I don't know what happened. There's about 80 clips here, and so finding because it's every clip that anyone's ever made, and I can't look at them in like order of when they were made. So it's kind of tough. There luckily is one that's legitimately called Phase 2 to Phase 3 wipe.
Yeah.
That one is a little bit obvious. So let's start off with some footage of that right there, so people could get a better idea, because we only had a GIF of it last time. And if possible, I'd like to get what the actual successful one looks like. In fact, this might even be it right here. So let's take a look, and we're gonna mute these. So, well, sort of. That's them being dead, but going into phase 3, yeah, this is what the 7th Umbral Era attack we were talking about last week actually looks like, and this is what it looks like with no tank LB, and they're dead.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're dead. And that's pretty
much... they're in 1.0. No. We discussed this.
Dude, literally this mechanic blasted them back to 1.0.
Yeah.
Just look at that. Yeah. It's literally Dalamud hits the arena, and then Bahamut breaks out of Dalamud. Now, that's the very first thing that happens in Phase 3. Right. And basically, it's been determined you need at least LB2. Like, LB1 is maybe possible, but LB2, Tank LB, is considered pretty much mandatory to get through that. And Tank LB3 makes it a breeze, assuming you have the proper healing to go through it. That's just the start of the madness. And I'd like to point out, this is about 7 minutes into the fight at this point.
Yeah.
You know how bad it must feel to get 7 minutes into the fight, and then that is what what greets you?
In the words of Larry, then you have the fight Swintania again.
It's so morally shattering every time you bring up the fact that anytime any of this cool shit kills people, you're back at Twintania.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, we beat Nail. Yeah, I can't wait.
And then you fight Twintania.
Again. Yeah, pretty much. 7 minutes into the fight and back to Twintania. So That's the easy part, though, Sly. That's just damage and tank LB. That's not mechanics.
No.
It's easy. By the way, you don't need the Neuralink there. They were standing in the Neuralink because I think 5150 was literally trying to use the Neuralink for everything. And a lot of the time, it just, like, I see groups that don't use the Neuralink, it's exactly the same. So they're just like, yeah, just use the Neuralink. Maybe it'll work. Any new mechanic they've never seen before, they use Neuralink. Pretty much. Like, yeah, we'll need it. Now, that is not even remotely close to being the problems that are here. So now I'm going to need a minute here to find the first set of towers, I guess, or the first trio.
Right.
But Sly, just looking at that, you cannot outgear that ever. We'd like to remind everyone it's now week 2, and you can never outgear this.
No.
If that's just the phase transition, are we sure this is going to be something that's doable?
I mean, people are past it, so now we know it is doable. But
no, I mean the whole fight, Sly. I just mean the one thing.
I still have a modicum of positivity about this. I still think it can be.
Well, I'd like to point out that one thing Yoshi P said is if there are no clears, probably within like 2 to 3 weeks, there may be adjustments because there is
no.
Let's just be clear. That's only if they determine that it is actually not possible. It's basically being determined that if the encounter is actually not possible, that they may have to consider that is something they need to do.
But what's the determining point that this isn't possible? I mean, progression is progression. If he sees that nobody is getting remotely close to clearing, and then decides to nerf it, I mean, I'd still feel a little shitty about it. But it's just a matter. I feel like it's just a matter of time before teams start to get inch closer and closer and closer before getting to that that ever loved 1% wipe. Like we'll eventually get there. I'm under the demographic of do not nerf this whatsoever, please.
And I agree.
I want to beat this free nerf if there ever isn't. I want to beat this free nerf.
Sly, I'm going to show you the first mechanic now that you've said that.
Okay.
So basically, last week we went over a lot of the ability names, and the first one that we're going to be looking at is Quick March Trio. Now, for the entirety of this part of the phase, it's basically 5 trio attacks back to back, followed by what's known as the Grand Octet, which then transitions into Terra Flare, which then transitions into one of the main topics. Why are all I said was Grand Octet? What's wrong?
Once people see Grand Octet, if you haven't seen Grand Octet yet, like, there's a reason I call this bend over and grab your ankles ultimate.
From what I understand, Grand Octet isn't even like as bad as some of the trio attacks. But
I mean, one person actually, like the clip that we have, one person actually Jesus their way through it. I don't know how the fuck they did.
When it's just about surviving, it's a lot easier as a tank than it is doing things that keep other people alive. I'd like to point out when we get to that clip that you're talking about that Momo posted, he's got no one else's safety but his own as a concern at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's not like he's like, oh great, I've mastered the mechanic, I'll just do that every time.
Right.
He's like, well, if it ever comes down to one person again, you know who to call. So this is the first mechanic, Bahamut Tri-Attack 1. By the way, whoever clipped this and it's literally called that, you are the god amongst all the people who actually clipped things. Because when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, I found the easy clip. So this is what's known as Quick March Trio. And I'm going to describe the mechanics before they happen, Sly. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
So Bahamut, Nail, and Twintanya all appear. And that's just during the cast bar. They don't actually attack you right away. They then all 3 of them dive bomb through kind of like an X in the middle. Like it's kind of, how do I describe it? It's like two triangles.
Sword.
It's like 2 triangles. Sword. No. But they're all like next to each other. So it's not like a triangle. So it's like 2 triangles touching at the tip, kind of deal. And that's like the not safe zone for the dive bombs. So you have to be off on the side. Whatever. That's how dive bombs work. While Mega Flare Dive is casting, Twintanya casts Twister. So you have to dodge the twisters as the dive bombs are going out. Right? All right. So then keep in mind, Mega Flare Dive is from turn 13. That's the one where he hits people with Mega Flares. He puts Mega Flares on the ground, and then you have to have the two people who, like the people with the stack marker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's happening. At the same time, I'm not done yet. At the same time, Bahamut puts, I think it's 3 Earthshakers down. So I think it's 2 or 3. We'll figure out as we watch this clip. And then he also has the tethers that the tanks have to pick up for Tempest Wing from turn 13. And so you need to have the group stacked with the people who have the stack marker. You need 3 people spreading out the Earthshakers, and you need the 2 tanks to pick up the tethers for the Tempest Wings. And this is what it looks like, pretty much. So we're doing this without sound. Sly, I can't wait till you. I should have. Why did I not send you this? Oh, because there's no way you would have been able to keep track of it anyway. So 5150 puts 4 people on each side. They dodge the Twister at the last second. And then Mega Flare circles. They all spread out. There's the Earthshakers. I see 2. And yeah, it's 3 Earthshakers. Okay. And that's it. That's the whole mechanic. And then he immediately Flare Breaths the tank. Immediately Flare Breaths and flattens the tank. Sly. Let me know when you've seen the whole thing.
Yep.
But see how that wasn't that bad, Sly? How do you
No, you're absolutely right. That wasn't too bad.
Was it not? Was it not that bad, Sly?
Not too bad. I mean, in this clip everybody lived. That's the one thing about these clips. There's a difference about these clips. There's clips where everybody just gets completely fucking annihilated, except for the 2 tanks. And then there are clips where, everybody lives.
That's them after they figure it out. They're doing it correctly.
Yeah. Right.
Sly, that's just the first mechanic. Now, I'd like to remind you, every time you wipe, you'll have to do all these mechanics again successfully
to Twintania
with as few deaths, or you're going back to Twintania. All right. Oh, by the way, yeah, that's only like maybe 8 seconds into the phase. Like they had Twintania. Like I think I think Bahamut does a Flare Breath and a Flatten, and then it's that immediately. So it's at like 95, 96%. So let's take a look what Bahamut decides to do next. Now, I don't remember the order. I think the second one is... It's not Fel Rune. Fel Rune is 4. No, Heaven's Fall is 4. I think Fel Rune is 3. No, actually, this might be Fel. Someone in the chat, tell me, which is the second trio attack? Because you guys will know, and I don't remember off the top of my head. I only remember Quick March. So this one is Blackfire. Okay, I was right about that. I shouldn't have second-guessed myself. So this is now Blackfire Trio. All right, so I'm not even going to describe this one beforehand. This is where so this one they're going to jump into 3 different locations. There's a dive ball. So we'll slow this down. So there's Liquid Hells coming out. That's the first thing. There's a Thermionic Beam coming out. So you have to dodge the Liquid Hells while all next to each other, while staying stacked for Thermionic Beam. And there's a Bahamut dive. So you then... So you have to bait Bahamut's dive while dodging the Liquid Hells and staying stacked for Thermionic Beam.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're doing that right now. Thermionic, whatever. And then it's a Mega Flare dive, don't forget. It is once again a Mega Flare dive, but this time it's towers, 4 towers, and the stack marker.
Oh joy.
Yeah. So you can see that this is I've seen other strats I think are a little more optimal than this one. But this is still a working strategy where they just stay stacked and then... Oh, and then I actually forgot about one other thing. There's also... what are they called? What's the gravity thing that Nail throws? The, gravity orb? I can never remember what it's called. For me, it's such like a I don't give a shit mechanic because it's so simple.
Yeah.
Where it's like the initial hit and then you just can't be in the AoE when it's called... It's called Hypernova.
Hypernova.
There you go. There, Hypernova. And then Nail throws those while you're doing the Mega Flare towers. And then Bahamut comes back and does Giga Flare. Sly, why are you so quiet? Oh, nice. The Giga Flare killed them all.
That's the one thing that impresses you is that the Giga Flare killed them all.
It looks so clean. Look, it looks... Oh, well, actually, they were all kind of dead before that because the 4th person for the stack just left the stack. And they're all dead. Got it.
And back to...
And back to Twintania. There you go. So that's try attack number 2, Sly. How do you feel about try attack number 2?
Man, it gets worse.
I like how you're only thinking about how it's going to get worse. That shows your how much you're lamenting over this one, because you're thinking about this one and you're like,
there's worse shit. It keeps going. That's the part about it. There's worse shit than this.
It just keeps going. I liked your approach there. And by the way, Bahamut's, you can't attack him this whole time he's doing these trio attacks. So it's just adding on to the encounter time, like more and more and more and more. I like the chat. That's the entire fight in a nutshell. It only gets worse.
Only gets worse.
There's 2 quotes you need for this fight. It only gets worse, and you asked for this. There's the only 2 quotes you need. And Sly, you know what? You weren't wrong. It does get worse. So next we have the third try attack, which is Felrune. Now, I personally like Felrune the most, minus one thing.
What?
It has Nail's fucking role-playing mechanic again.
Oh, great. The flavor text mechanic.
It has the flavor text mechanic, which at this point everyone's agreed. If you're doing this, you're probably using ACT triggers. Like, you literally just put the words into ACT, and then that's it. Like, people have just said, no, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm making an ACT trigger. And for the first time ever, I don't dislike that people are doing that, because I don't like the read the small text.
I still need to get my ACT triggers to work. They have not worked, and I don't know why the fuck they're not working.
For me, I wouldn't need it, or I wouldn't even suggest it, if it was like Rabanastre, where the text appears like in that box on the screen, like, I am Revelation. But it doesn't. It's over Nail's head or in your chat, and that's it.
It would have been nice if Nail actually spoke the words.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that. I guess at this point, they're not going to voice just Nail, because then it's like, well, why Nail and not Bahamut? Or, you know, it's...
Does Bahamut actually talk? Yeah, exactly. He
can say words. He just chooses not to.
Right.
He has said words before, just not really here. So the next one we have is Felrune Trio. So let's take this play by play here. All right. So they jump up, they all separate. So we need Neurolinks here, by the way, Sly. So the first thing that you need to do is read Nail's RP, because you need to know what's coming. You need to know if it's like Raven's Dive into Dynamo or whatever it is, or if it's Dynamo or Chariot. You need to be paying attention to that for this one, and I believe also the fourth one as well, because I know there's Raven's Dives and shit as well. So they all read the text and they all find out, okay, it's Dynamo, right? So they all run in, it's Dynamo. Right. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now Titania's casting Ethereal Profusion, which means you need to be in the whatever they're called, the Neurolinks, right? And there's 2 Tempest Wings going out right now. So that means each tank needs 1 Neurolink with 1 Tempest Wing, and everyone else needs to be in the final Neurolink. I don't know, that doesn't sound that bad to me. Other than
No, it's just Neurolink placement and Neurolink people placement. So that's all that is.
Pretty much. Now they die, but at least and then there's Meteor Streams. I forgot about that. You're gonna see it. I forgot about the Meteor Streams. Because I was like, oh look, they did the yeah, just this is just I'm gonna voice over the reaction. Oh my god, guys, we did it! We're actually alive! I can't believe It's very much the same feeling of when you go to the second phase for the first time. Yeah. It's very, very akin to that.
And then that one person at the end, after everybody says, progression!
Yeah, because you're like, oh my god, we did. That's Back to Twintania. We should have named this show we should have named this State of the Realm number 140, Back to Twintania. That's our phrase for the show.
Yeah.
That's it.
And back to
Twintania. So that's the third. Sly, at this point, we're like 85% into the fight. There's flare breaths and flattens between all this shit, but we're like 15% into the fight, into the phase at this point. And it only gets worse.
Again, key phrase of this show.
But it only gets worse. So let me try to
Yeah.
find try attack 4. Okay. Oh, I know the person who clipped this. Clipped by Zephyr. So I know that guy. All right. Okay. They're already dead, Sly. So you don't even get the satisfaction of like
Yep.
really seeing them fail it. But we can at least talk about the fourth trio here. So the fourth trio is Heaven's Fall trio. I'd actually like to find a fourth trio completion, if I can. Part 4 of Bahamut. Then no, that's not it. Oh, second Heaven's Fall? Maybe this is it? No, because I literally clicked 2 seconds into the clip, and guess where they were?
Where?
Back at Twintania. There's so many clips. By the way, guys, if you go to Hiroro's Twitch, which if there's a sub or a mod in the chat that has it, feel free to link it and go to clips. You can see every single clip that we are going through right here, and it's not great. It's not great. Almost to fifth trio is one that's here. Is this them actually doing? Almost. This footage might be good enough. It might be. Yeah. Okay. I think this footage is good enough right here. Clean Heaven's Fall trio. Okay, Jim Link actually has shared with us a clean Heaven's Fall trio.
Ooh, clean.
A clean one. Thank you, Jim Link. So, are you ready for this, Sly?
Sure, it's clean.
It's clean?
It's clean.
How much you want to bet that at the end of this, they're back at Twintania?
God damn it. I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
It's really the unending Twintania, not anything else. Okay, so here, let me go back to the very beginning, and Sly. Okay, so this is So this is kind of not from the very beginning, but it is clean for what the actual like difficult part of the fight is. So basically, what's happening here is there's dive bomb marker from Twintania, there's a dive bomb mark, and there's a mega flare marker for Bahamut. So that's just the start. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like there's also twisters here. Yeah, and there's also twisters. Anytime Twintania dive bombs, I think Twintania also casts twisters in this phase.
That's good to know.
That's good to know. Yeah. So that's where it starts. It starts after the dive bombs have been baited and dodged. So then we go a little bit further in, and there's 8 Heaven's Fall towers literally resting on the edge of the arena. So like only half of them are in the actual area of the fight, and the other half is out of bounds. You'd be dead if you were even there. So then you have mega flare, like generic explosions that hit the ground, nothing else. And then there's this really cool thing that hits the middle of the arena. It's called a Heaven's Fall. Maybe you've heard of it before.
Yeah.
You have to use the Heaven's Fall knockback to knock you into the tower.
To the tower.
And all 8 people need to do it correctly, or, well, you want to say it, Sly?
And back to Twintania.
And back to Twintania. There we go.
Now, what's the time frame on this? Because I see, like, you have a little bit of time to adjust yourself right after the knockback.
Wait, Jim, I thought you said this was clean. They're all dead, and I'm only 10 seconds into the clip.
Yeah, exactly.
It's clean enough. That's so not clean.
No, somebody missed the tower.
I'm gonna die.
You all right there,
I'm gonna die.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's the cleanest I got.
All right.
So yeah, again, what are we talking about the time frame on for getting into the towers? Because it looks like you have a quick second to adjust yourself after the knockback and correct yourself.
Exactly accurate. You have a quick second.
Okay.
That's what you've got. You got to at least be knocked back in the general direction, and then you can like sidestep a little bit or like take another step back. So as soon as the Heaven's Fall hits, remember how we were like, oh, the first Heaven's Fall pattern is the easy one. What happened to the piano? This is the piano Heaven's Fall. So if anyone doesn't remember this.
Hold on, I want to wait for it to play out.
Oh, he cast Hollowed at least. Damn it. So
that's not even a fucking piano. That's just you running across the keys.
Yeah, that's
with your fucking fingers.
Running. This is called the piano because you're running your hand across the keys. Yeah. So it's the piano Heaven's Fall with hypernovas being cast on the ground and a Twintania fireball marker. So that's what's going on here. He hollows to see the whole phase at the very least. He gets paralyzed, survives it, and then Giga Flare. So he tank LB3s the Giga Flare at the very least, and survives it because that's like crazy damage mitt. And these clemencies are value, but right now, by the way.
Yeah.
He's spamming clemency on himself through the. Go! Go! Go!
I like we're cheering him on in this clip.
No, there he goes. Yeah, that's yeah. He's and oh yeah, and by the way,
and back to Twin Time.
And back to Twin Time. That's exact. Oh well, I mean, it was the fireball at the end there, and then now he's right back to Twin Time. Yeah. It's so painful. So how do you feel about trio number 4, Sly? We're not done yet. Okay, I'm just getting your thoughts.
No, I know we're not done yet. We've used the term mechanic vomit before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Is this on the good side or bad side of mechanic?
Sly, I think the point of the word vomit is that, there's no good side of that word. No one's ever like, oh dude, I fucking vomit, and you're like, the good vomit though, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's good mechanic vomit where it's just like a few mechanics that you had to deal with at one time, but it's like vomited at least 7 or 8 different mechanics at the same time, and then back to Twin Time.
And back to Twin Time, yeah. That's, I mean, I guess the good kind of vomit is when, like, you know, you're feeling awful, but then you throw up and you're like, all right, I'm good to go for another shot.
Right.
That's about it. Twin Tanya is your next shot. That's about it. So you won't feel great again in about 8 minutes. So you asked for this. Yeah, but at least these mechanics are very clear, and like once you've seen every point of it, the way to approach them, I feel, is pretty clear. Because you know how to dodge the piano, you have to follow it. You know Hypernovas just follow behind you, and you know the stack marker for Twintania Fireball is split damage AoE. So what do? You stand together, dodge the Hypernovas, and that. Heaven's Fall, there's 8 towers, Heaven's Fall knocks you back. Everyone gets knocked back into time. Like, it's super clear what it is at least after all these years of us seeing these mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that do you think that they're kind of playing to that advantage, that they expect people to at least be somewhat familiar with these mechanics, or that they should be?
Oh yeah, they're playing on familiarity. It's just that there's familiarity plus, you know, all of those mechanics at the same time. So they expect us to be at the top of our game.
That's yeah, that's a word. Top of your game is definitely a word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the final trio. That's, if I'm not, actually no, that wasn't the final trio, was it? That was Heaven's Fall trio. 10 strike trio is the final trio.
Oh yeah.
So when you hear the word 10 strike.
10 strike.
What do you think is striking 10 times?
I don't know, nail, maybe? A combination nail and other fucking dragons.
Well, you're correct about it being nail.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be meteor streams. So that's a big part of it. The 10 strikes are definitely part of Nail's grand plan. So luckily for us, we're going to get to see a pretty good portion of... Well, actually, no, we won't, because I just saw the clip, and this is going to go really, really bad in a second here. That's over. I wonder if there's a better clip of it.
Yeah.
I'm not even showing you that. I'm not even showing you that part of the fight yet. I'm trying to find a good 5th trio. Like a clean 5th trio.
We keep saying clean, but they're never clean.
No, listen, I'm gonna find listen. If I just want you to see it not be over in about 4 seconds, all right. All I'm trying to find is a clip where they survive and you see the entire set of mechanics. I've yet to find a clip among the 80 or more so that I'm looking at that does not end with them dead within about 8 seconds of 10 strike trio. So that's all I'm doing this for you. Okay?
Thanks.
I'm doing this for you. Sly. And them,
And
but
then,
also you. Like, I have the eggs are back. That's a 5th trio. I have almost the 5th trio. I have 5th trio, which is them dying immediately. I have
I like this question in chat. How hard is it to find a video with no deaths?
You know, I wish it was that simple. But it would probably be a lot easier if these fucking clips could be sorted. But they cannot be sorted. So, like, I literally, all I can check is the top clips in the last 7 days. So I guess only whatever's viewed at the top most is like my best bet. I don't know what else unless there's clips at the very bottom. Okay, looks like somebody might have one that's clean.
Is it clean?
Yes. So this one is as clean as we're gonna get. Marth, you're a god. You're a god. All right. So let's pull up this clip. And so this is 10 strike trio, ladies and gentlemen. So let's hit the Twintanya's here first, and there's 2 hatches. Okay, so that's the first thing. So you need the 2 people in the hatches. And now everyone needs to be spread out for meteor streams because now Nail's gonna... Oh, there's 3 hatches. And there's 2 waves of hatches at that. So I'd like to point out, Sly, as a reminder, remember that hatch debuff we said in the first phase seemed worthless because you never get 2 hatches in quick succession? That means...
Yeah, I kind of figured it would come up later.
This is where it comes up.
Yeah.
Because after the first 3 people get their hatches, they then get marked with another hatch, and somebody needs to eat the second hatch while chasing them. So you see that right here. And all the while, Nail is doing meteor streams on everybody, so you can never be stacked with another person while positioning for all of this. Nail, as the title would imply, is doing 10 strikes. 10 meteor streams. So then they move out. There you go. And then there's what looks to be 3 Earthshakers, which Bahamut comes back. There's well, that's not entirely clean. So it's actually there's 4 Earthshakers. That's as clean as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
Oh wait, before I make my point. And back to Twin. So there's 4 Earthshakers on 4 people, and then there's 4 Earthshakers on the other 4 people who weren't marked the first time. So there you go.
This is brilliant. This is fucking brilliant.
So how do you feel as somebody who is not even remotely close to this? How do you feel from the outside in? Because that's the only perspective both of us reasonably have at this point.
Well, I'm not feeling great about it.
But you asked for
I mean, how can I be optimistic after seeing all this bullshit, knowing...
Oh, yeah, we're like 60... We're like 65% into the fight or something. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's 70%. So Bahamut has 70% of his HP remaining.
And half of this time, you're not even touching it.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. You're not even able to touch Bahamut.
No. That's... I mean,
and time is still going.
He did say it would be a long, long fight. He did say that.
What's the next mechanic?
Next mechanic is Grand Octet, dude, and Jim Link in the chat just shared one that has more than one person alive.
What, a Grand Octet with more than one person alive?
Yes, a Grand Octet with more than one.
No.
No, you don't want to see that?
Before you show that one, show delete monks. Keep the audio up.
I don't. Sly, I can't just keep the audio up. I can't just keep the audio up. This isn't our video. I can. All right, I'll do you a favor. I'll show delete monk first.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna play the audio.
Fine.
I was just gonna play the clip of it being done clean, but Sly really wants to see delete monk and the god tier paladin survive the entire thing. So let's just go with this. So this is the mechanic that follows 10 strike trio, and this is the Grand Octet. So here you go. So Grand Octet is, as implies, 8 dragons. The 5 dragons from Nail's phase prior, plus Nail, plus Titania, plus Bahamut. And you know how much people love dive bombs?
So much so that they're giving us 8.
So they all go to different sections, and they all have, and some of them have different types of dive bombs. Like, you have to remember, the dragons have cauterize, and there are different markers. So there's 2 markers that are going out here, and they're just like, fuck it, we're going to opposite ends. We don't know what's going on. And then they're just running around the arena trying to dodge dive bombs like madmen. There goes a cauterize. There goes one that actually gets them. There goes another cauterize. And here comes the Mega Flare dive. So here comes the last. And then Titania's still chilling. And then there's 4 Mega Flare towers, the stack marker, and then one last dive bomb marker just for good measure. But that paladin is
God tier.
Is God tier. Now here's
it's God tier for everything that happened and him being the sole one alive. Now with more people, it's going to complicate.
It's like all my dive bombs have come at once. I like that quote from the chat right there.
God.
Yeah. Okay, so then I like how we say it's more than one person alive, but it starts with basically a healer LB3 to make it more than one person alive. Oh, the paladin was the one who was dead. It was the other tank who was alive. By the way, the paladin was there, but it was the warrior who was alive. Hey, listen, that just sounds like a wish list for Heaven's Word. Yeah, can you just join the group real quick as a paladin and then put on an axe? That sounds a lot like Heaven's Word, right?
Yeah.
Well, I like how the first 2 LB3'd is immediately dead to Giga Flare.
Dead, yeah.
You know, it's a good start to any encounter, really. Flatten, Flare Breath. Oh, and then, of course, the lovely Grand. By the way, I want to point out that in this clip of Rushers, in the top right is is a chat box for just Nail Deus Darnus. I'd like to point out the 2341 up there is Nail Deus Darnus. All right, so now they're all. I don't think they know what they're just. Oh, that's not gonna end well. Oh no, actually, I think they do know what. Nope, that's almost correct. Nope, that's not. Nope. All right, that's. See, this is what you'd expect it to look like all the time.
Yeah.
And then they're gone.
Yep.
All your dive bombs belong to me, and that is as accurate as you need to be.
Yeah.
And Sly, that's like the first 35% of Bahamut's phase, so we're moving along.
Hooray!
We're moving along pretty well.
Progression.
But it only gets worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it always gets worse. And by the way, they wiped there, so
Go ahead and say it.
back to Twintania.
Here we go.
Then comes Terra Flare. Okay? Not a big deal. Terra Flare is Terra Flare. And that pretty much marks the end. There is a little bit more to that, but we're going to just leave it at there's a Terra Flare next, because we don't have any footage of it to show it and describe it. We might actually. Someone might, but I don't. It's at this point where we reach speculation territory, because groups have been past that point for a while now.
But not
publicly.
Yeah.
We have the earliest. So Grand Octet was likely reached for the first time, if I'm to go through Twitter real quick, which has been a wonderful way of keeping track of all of this, would be, let's see, no. October 27th, which is 4 days ago, would be the earliest Grand Octet that was not seen. Mostly because Fold is already memeing about it. And if Fold is memeing it, Fold only memes about things he's seen.
Right.
So they've been past, like, they probably passed Grand Octet and got through Terra Flare, like, maybe the next day. What has happened since then has been a variety of memes revolving around phoenixes. My favorite one happened last night, Sly. You know who we've had Layla on the show before, right, Sly?
Of course.
Yeah. He's doing some hardcore prog right now. And he was streaming last night. Not the raid, just to be clear. He would never do that. It's prog. But although he did it for Savage, I like to point out, for 04 Savage. But he was like, oh, I'm just here to hang out, talk, relax, whatever. And he's like, all right, guys, I got to go raid. I'll see you later. And like 30 seconds go by and his stream's still on. And people are like, hey, dude, you forgot to turn off your stream. And all of a sudden you just hear a voice. And it sounds like text-to-speech, almost.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was playing the ebook version of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Ultimate memes.
And he let it play for like 4 minutes.
Oh, wow.
He didn't just play it for like 10 seconds and then...
This goes beyond what Fold does. This definitely goes beyond
He
Fold.
let it sit there, and everyone's just like, what the fuck is it? I just remember hearing something like, Harry Potter looked under the cupboard, decided that wasn't a good idea. That is ultimate level memes. And that's all that we've had of anything pretty much past Grand Octet, is things like that. Would you like me to read some of Fold's tweets?
Sure.
Okay, let's see. No, definitely don't need to read it. Lord Voldemort. He tweeted...
We're just getting a bunch of Harry Potter memes.
He tweeted, Harold Potsherd goes to Chogborts with his friends Hermandy Grinder and Randolph Wesker. Fold. And I gotta read Momo's tweets, yeah. And Angrid put out a tweet. Let's see. What else is there? Where's the music he was listening to last night? He tweeted, I'll condense Bahamut Prog into one image for you all, since no amount of MS Paint can portray this. Sly, what do you think this is a picture of?
Hold on.
No, don't look at his Twitter. What do you think it's a picture of?
Something with a phoenix.
Close. I don't know what to say about this.
Let me see it. Hold on.
I don't know what to say about this. It's a chocolate chip cookie being dipped into orange juice. And I'd like to remind you that the quote is, I'll condense Bahamut Prog into one image for all of you, since no amount of MS Paint can portray this. Getting dunked on? Maybe. Our phoenixes are like orange? Maybe.
A sour taste in your mouth? I don't know.
A sour taste in your mouth? I was looking for... Oh, this one. Prog song tonight. The Phoenix by Fall Out Boy. There's the tweet I was looking for. And then alternate prog song for tonight is Pegboard Nerds Disconnected. And that's because all the DDoS shit, or the DDoSes in quotes that people were having last night. Like full red ball disconnects, which is, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? MS Pain. Right, he didn't type paint. He typed MS Pain. Fold and spelling. I honestly, can we just do a show where we only talk about Fold?
No. Our future shows will be kind of like ABC News. It'll just be correspondence from the field. And we're just going to read a bunch of tweets from all the teams.
Yeah, from now on for Ultimate, for Prog, for like something that takes more than 24 hours, which will only be Ultimate, that's what we'll do. Correspondence from the field. You'll have correspondence from the field, and then we'll get to read great tweets such as, I think we're changing our static name from Gabagool to Cashews of Chaos.
Oh God.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
So, with all this being said, yep.
Oh, you thought we were done?
Wait, that's not it?
That's it for Fold's tweets. But we're not done with
God.
Twitter. We've got more correspondence from the field, my friend.
Okay.
So now we're going to turn over to Momo. Many of you may know him for releasing a lot of guides for a lot of physical DPS. In fact, a Dragoon one he posted September 12th is currently pinned at the top of his Twitter. Sly, have you watched that yet?
Of course I have.
All right, there you go. He had this to say 6 hours ago.
Okay.
This is such bullshit. If you thought Nisi was bad, wait till you get to this. And finally, Kenji Sudo! That would be the guy who developed Ultimate, for anyone who doesn't know, as well as several encounters such as Titan Extreme and Second Coil and blah, blah, blah. Now remember when I referred to that graph at the beginning of the stream? I would like to pull that graph up again for anyone who may have joined the show a little bit late. Where do we think we are on this graph right now, Sly?
There's not like a thing on the side, but I'm gonna go ahead and make one. See in 5.0.
Frosty,
See
your
in
graph.
5.0.
Yeah, this is your graph, Frosty. Listen, Twitter is officially part of the show.
SE, like right underneath SE, learn to make content. See you in 5.0.
Okay, yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
if you go into the negative, it's see you in 5.0.
Right.
Okay. What about the time frame? Because it's between content release and 1 day after clearing, and we're not at the clear yet. So like, would you have like a name for the time frame since it's been like between content release and 1 day after clearing? Where are we putting C in 5.0?
Put it slightly. See, the thing is, it's kind of skewed because there's going to be some people
skewed.
There's going to be some people who are like at that point right now who just said, "Fuck this. We are best in Slyh. We're still not doing this shit." See in 5.0. And there are going to be others who, actually complete this and then look forward to the next one. And then the next one's complete utter ass. When I mean utter ass, I mean on the example of like something they would probably do that would like top this, maybe something like Titan. See in 5.0. Good luck.
That's going to be a very important. Actually, we're going to talk about Titan in a little bit, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to point out that graph Frosty tweeted was in response to a "This is such as bullshit" tweet from Momo. And Fold just simply replied, "Yep." The most not meme thing he's ever said. Followed by Momo's, "This isn't even fun at this point, to be honest.
Wow.
Followed by Fold's, "I have to de-stress by ripping imps' heads open in Doom because of this garbage." And in response to Frosty's graph, Momo only had to say, "You don't understand, Frosty, okay?" in all caps.
I'm gonna need Fold to make his own graph. Fold, if you see this, we need your version of that graph.
We don't want Fold's version of this graph, please.
No, I want Fold's version of the graph. I'm asking.
Where on the graph is you
asked for this?
Yeah, where on the graph is you asked for this? Where is that? I'd like to point out one more quote from Momo here. "Everything up to this point is awesome. Adding a mechanic with so much RNG so far into the fight is awful."
So that would be the, learn to design fight. Okay.
Fold's graph would absolutely say between second and final coil. That's his favorite meme. That we were quoting between second coil and final coil memes last week from him.
Yeah.
Now, Sly, there may be hope yet. There's one more tweet.
Okay.
And this one comes from Angered.
Okay.
"The most crucial moments in any race is near the end." Sly, Pete, there is an audio-only version of this. Your eyes being wide open is only adequate for the live stream version.
We don't know how far they are, though. So we don't know how close to the end, quote unquote, they might be, but that is a bit of hope.
That is, and listen, I don't think anyone would be surprised if Angered pulls this off. Most people are banking on them to be first anyway.
Right.
I like the chat, and then they tweet later, "Okay, we're done with phase 1, guys." Oh my God! Now we're in phase 2.
Oh man.
So what abilities?
It would be really fucked up if after you do all this, and we're under the impression that Bahamut is the final phase.
Well, from what we've been led to believe, Phoenix appears during the Bahamut phase during the latter, like after Terraflare has occurred. What actually happens with him? Who the fuck knows? Well, about 16 to 20, like 16 to 32 people know. But what abilities have we not seen yet, Sly? We haven't seen Exaflare Strike or any of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different versions of Exaflare. We haven't seen Flames of Rebirth. We haven't seen, at least unless it's one of the abilities there is named Mourn Afa. We haven't seen, we've seen Tempest Wing, we've seen Flatten, Calamitous Blaze. I can't remember if Calamitous Blaze, I think Calamitous Blaze and Calamitous Flame are ones we haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Is that all we haven't seen? No, I think there's some more on the next page. Thermionic Burst. Oh no, that's the name of what happens when you get hit by a Thermionic Beam, I think. Is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. Because I just went, no, Thermionic Burst is a different ability from Thermionic Beam. And I don't think we've seen... No, that might be it. Those might be all the abilities we haven't seen. Oh, no, I think the AoE circle from the nail phase, I think that's called White Fury. I thought, well, White Fury might actually be the name of something else. Because there is an ability called White Fury here. That's racist. And it's right next to Fireball, Ice Ball, Chain Lightning, and Lunar Dive. So it's right next to all the Nail Deus Darnus stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Mornifa is Eternal Death. Oh, that might be... Okay, Mornifa is the other one. Okay. And Thermionic Burst is what it's called when Heavens Fall hit. There's actually not too many abilities here we haven't seen the names of. Oh, and then we also have Los Die and Phoenix's Blessing. So what the fuck is happening in the last 60%?
Do you think somewhere in that last percentage is just a complete burn down before Enrage?
I'd have to believe with Phoenix's Blessing that has to be the case. I can't imagine that not being the case where like Bahamut's probably at he's at 60% and this is over 11 minutes into the encounter. Like, if that final 60% doesn't somehow speed up with, like, a Phoenix's Blessing, then the fight's looking to be, like, insane. Like, I pegged it at between 13.5 to 14 minutes earlier in my stream.
Mm-hmm.
Some people still thinking it's going to stretch on, like, an entire kill Bahamut, respawn, whatever again, and it's going to go between 17 and 20 minutes.
You know what they need to do for good measure? Allow us to, like, at the blunt end of the fight, Twintania comes back down, and that's all you have to fucking do. And Twintania is back. So you get to burn down Twintania for the last little bit, and that'll be the fight.
That 1 HP.
Yeah. Just for like I guess a soothing moment, so to speak.
Just remember, if you die to Enrage Sly, what happens?
Hey, we've seen this before. You go back to Twintania.
Back to Twintania, boys. That was going to be the first group that gets to that Enrage and dies at 1%. That actually might be the most soul-crushing thing that's ever happened to anyone in this game.
Yeah. Shit will probably get thrown, broken. They'll have to, find another monitor.
Find one. Not buy one. You got to go find one. You gotta earn
because
it.
You're still in Prague. So you gotta go find one really fucking quick.
You gotta earn it. That's incredible. All right. Okay. So Sly, I gotta pose one very important question to you and the rest of the chat. How do they follow this up in 4.3?
People are already saying Titan.
No.
And that will make it even fucking worse.
That's not what I mean. How do you take this encounter? Let's say they do Titan in 4.3.
Okay.
How in fuck's name do you even make it remotely comparable to this on any scale? Not mechanically, but in terms of the scale of what type of encounter you're being asked to do. How do you match Bahamut being matched with two of the other end bosses with a Phoenix in there? Like, how do you even possibly make something feel as compelling and interesting as this? Whether or not it's easier or harder, it doesn't matter. It could be fucking 8 times harder for all I care, but can you make Titan feel like this encounter?
No, because it's only one entity. Like, you would have to add for Titan to be that, it wouldn't just be Titan. It would have to be like all the primals, and not just only the 2.0. It would be, we would be talking about something along the lines of the Warring Triad and then the Tower of the Gods being your final fucking phase. Like this is something kind of reminiscent of what we're going to get, like as close to a council fight as we're going to get. So it would have to be a multiple entity encounter.
Is there any way they do an ultimate that's not a multiple entity encounter?
No, that is the only way we're going to get something on this scale. I mean, you can't. I mean, what are you going to do, Alexander again?
No, but first of all, we've already decided it's Faust, not Alexander. It's Faust Ultimate. He's going to summon Alexander as an ad, but it's Faust, all right? And I'm sending Yoshi P that request.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, even if you, I mean, let's just say, like, even for Gilgamesh, let's say you include Enkidu in there. Like, let's say they do that. Does it end there? Could you have just done Gilgamesh? Could you have ever just done Titan? Because that was what it was between. It was literally between just Titan and this.
And I'm glad we got this. As painful as it is to look at, I'm glad we got this. As opposed to Titan.
I'm just concerned about the scale of these going forward, because when you blow your load all at once, you've got nothing left in the tank. And this is them blowing their load.
Vertifolnir, Vidofnir, Racefelger.
I would like to not see an ultimate encounter with the children of
Bahamut. I mean, that would kind of be the ultimate sequel.
The children of Midgard's armor, because by the way,
yeah,
Bahamut's one of them.
Oh yeah, that is right. So we take out one of the children of Midgardsormr, and have to deal with the rest of the children, and then Midgardsormr ultimately. So that would be another one.
I mean, I think Midgardsormr honestly does deserve kind of something that's a little bit better than what he got, but
yeah.
And then you still have to consider, like, for example, what if Ozma? Like Ozma, you can't pair him with another boss.
Ozma's still a possibility. And when we think of something like this, I mean, Ozma was a super boss, so it's only one thing that's a thing.
I'm throwing that out there. I mean, maybe inside of Ozma are other bosses, like when he pulls you into the thing. That's about all I can think of. But still, like, that's what I mean. I'm just so concerned about the scale of 4.3. Like, they're going to have to... It's going to be like when we went from getting Thornton to, like, getting fucking Sophia, like, 2 patches later. We're like, wow, how did we get here? Sephiroth was still very well scaled. And Sophia, it's like... Man, this is a cool fight, but we really took it down a notch. I see.
And then you get the Zervin, and it's like, did you even try?
Skip Sora, man.
Or
always do. So I'm curious to watch the next 24 hours with Angered putting that tweet out. For all we know, that tweet could be bullshit, and it's like, yo, let's just discourage the fuck out of them. Let's make them stress, and then maybe they'll fuck it up. Maybe we'll make them stress. No, it's not. 100%
I don't see anybody.
Believe them.
I don't see anybody playing mind games at this point. Nah.
I know. I think they're very, very honest about what is being implied there. Did you see what Wolf tweeted?
Oh, the earlier picture.
Yeah, finally got the nail, and back
to Twinsonia.
That's exactly what it was in my head, but I never put it into words. But it's too bad I can't make it much larger than that. But oh yes, I can. There you go. That's feeling mighty accurate right there.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Wolf, for that contribution to the show. So, oh god. All right, Sly. We've literally just done 2 shows in a row about Ultimate. We literally have had sections dedicated to Fold's Twitter. What do we do going forward? Like, what do we do next week? Do we do
Again, next week? It's going to be the correspondence stream. It's going to be the correspondence SOTR, where we just read tweets.
But here's the thing. Okay, so Sly, here's my problem going into next week.
Okay.
If Angered is that close, I want to be ready to do a World First show again next week.
Are you going to hit up Angered with, like, okay, we're hoping you're as close as you say you are. Do you want to be on next week's show and then it doesn't pan out?
Okay, so I'm trying to debate. Do I have? So what I'm thinking is, I'll tell Ethis to prepare questions for Air Zivia, and I'll tell him that we may or may not do the show next. Because
there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs for next week.
Yeah, because if I want to do a World First show next week, if someone beats them, but if somebody doesn't beat Ultimate, then if we don't have a fucking backup plan, we can't do this again. And we still have Rival Wings coming out in a few weeks.
Well, at least we got something you can talk about.
Listen, we had plenty to talk about. It's just scary that it came down to Fold's memes. Like, I don't think we've ever hit that low on the show.
It's a low? This
I
is
mean,
a low?
listen, it's either a low or you're extremely fucking high. It's one of the two. There's nowhere in between with Fold. It's one or the other. So, one of those two shows is happening next week. I'm keeping
the Excel sheet open. I'm definitely keeping that open. Just
oh yeah, you said there was a highlight on that.
Yes, I'm like, it's just Frosty highlighting a square. I'm just looking because it made me think something happened. I'm like, wait, did something happen? Nope, he's just highlighting the square. So no, nothing. But I'm keeping my eye on it.
Okay. So that's unless you have something you want to say, Sly. I think that's the show for the week.
Yay.
Is that what you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Next week I should have my normal microphone back as well. Dude, I just want to point this out in the middle of the show. I asked Sly, I told Sly sorry for my microphone. You know what you said to me, Sly?
Frosty, stop it. Dude, what the fuck?
Is Frosty typing?
He's moving the cursor.
He knows you're watching. He knows you're watching.
Oh, God, Frosty, why? Why, Frosty? Oh, man.
Listen, just stop looking at it. He's just doing it to mess with
I
you.
Can't help it.
Sly, before the show started, you said my microphone didn't sound much different. I have a question. Do you have ears?
I didn't have it turned up, so really.
Okay. That's a way better explanation than, yeah, you don't sound that much different. I was like, I mean, it's my voice. I can promise you that much, but there you go.
Do you have ears?
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like vintage. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, so the only other things that happened this last week is we had the announcement of the return of the Final Fantasy XI campaign, or the Final Fantasy XI seasonal event, but that has only, as far as I know, been announced for China. I haven't seen any sort of official North American announcement of it yet, so I'm kind of just like holding back. I don't know if it's a global thing or if it's just in one region of the world, and I don't know. I don't think anyone cares about anything else at this point. Like, do you care about it? I don't care about anything. I don't fucking care about anything else. I just want to fucking do Ultimate. No one fucking cares. Yeah, it says Final Fantasy XI crossover event coming back November 10th. And I've only seen that in the one post there that was... Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it in English, so I'm waiting. So, Sly, thank you for being on the show tonight. I would ask you if you're rating after the show, but I know the answer is no.
No, because maintenance.
But
we are going in on Thursday, and I have to ask them how far they gotten because I wasn't there for 2 raids, so I was sub. So yeah.
Is this the part where you log in and they're like, yeah, well, we already progged with the sub, so you want to do Omega and then.
I'm like, fuck that. Like, well, first of all, we're not doing Omega anymore. We're done with Omega. No. Fuck.
Done with it?
Yeah, we're done.
Oh, the monk. That was the last clear the monk needed?
Mm-hmm.
So it's ultimate or bust.
Yeah.
Sly, how you feeling about your odds?
I'll see you in 5.0.
But Sly, what about, what if they let you unsync it in 4.2 with all that, 30 more item level? And and you got those new weapons and your
and see the thing about that weapon, is it really looking that appealing now?
Yeah.
Is it still looking that appealing?
Yeah.
You sure about
that?
Even
if people unsync this shit, they're gonna fail horribly. All right, I want that fucking weapon. you could be unsynced like 3 expansions from now, and people are gonna fucking die to twisters. All right, in the first phase. And the title, The Legend.
I really want a troll title of "And Back This One." You know?
That's after you've died 1,000 times. You don't know this, but a few people have that title already.
Twintania's best friend. There you go.
No, I still like "And Back to Twintania." Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with Ultimate, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on Ultimate going forward. Hopefully next week is a world first show. Anyway, on that note, Sly, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at as we wrap up the show?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox. You can find me on Instagram at Slyakagreyfox07. You can find me on Twitter at Slythefox. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/thevelvetroom. You can find me on Twitch tonight. And, it is Halloween. So there will be things happening.
Oh, no.
Yes. The dress is in the other room. Let me just say that.
You can't just Sly. Stop doing that. Sly.
I gotta brush it though.
Sly, just don't. Whenever you have to say without context, like the dress is in the other room, is not a great quote coming out of you. Just want you to know that. So.
Where can I find you, Mike?
You can find me not in a dress. Mr. Happy 1227, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Any video I record for the next week is going to be using this microphone because I just moved to Los Angeles and I have like the bare minimum to function. Like until about an hour and a half ago, I didn't have a light in this room. And right now, what's illuminating me is what's left of the cloudy sky outside. So this is going to be my life for the next little bit. I'm a monk, full bis, looking for phase 2 to Bahamut at beginning phase prog on E2.
So back to Twintania.
So yeah. back to Twintania prog. Yeah. So if you're looking for a monk or melee deeps, you might need someone to fill for the rest of the group. Then it's like I'm here and I'm desperate. So please, I'm not a ninja dragoon. And go fuck yourself. But that's besides. At least I'm not a samurai. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, that's where I'm sitting right now. So we're gonna move on over into post show after.
But before that.
See?
You remembered. Good job.
I remember. We're doing it at the end of the show this week because we needed to get into the show. And once again, the video fucked up and I got the microphone. We're all over the place this week. We got to shout out our Patreon sponsors. Now, I'd like to point out that the end screen doesn't have the updated one because I actually don't have my computer that I use to edit everything. That computer is also still back in San Diego, so I got to get that. But we do want to thank our sponsors as per usual that we do every week. Those of you who have been helping combat hashtag demonetized, I literally talked about blowing loads this episode, so this video ain't doing shit. So let's
blood.
Thanks. Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Oh,
blood.
God.
I've confirmed that will indeed get you demonetized. Yeah.
For whatever random reason that is.
Yeah. No, that's exactly accurate. Okay, yeah. So to thank our sponsors, we'll start with our standard ones. We've got Sour Cream and Chives. We've got Ellisan Le'ore. We've got Velestra of Famfrit, Rynoet Chikara, Kiryoshi, Ignis Fairgun from Diablos, Goetia, Valefar of Siren, Jean-Francois Themacholuis, Fersh of Faerie, Phoenix Down for Company on Goblin, Serren from Zodiark. Those are our standard sponsors, so thank you for your support thus far. And then we also have our elite sponsors, and that of Krovos Moonscar, Nake Niame, Ira and Avon Blanc for Company on Zodiark, Johnny Odin of Tomberry, Private Mikey, Aqua Sacrifice, Obadiah Shamsi, Spike, Rudy Rudiger, Nadia and Kurasame, Khuja Cross of Genova, Ahmed Kurenai Oni, Abdullah, Tin Colossus, Killer Hackman, Raul Jr., Darklight 2013, Arthur Emil Gaming Bishop, and Kiltastic Jones. So, thank you everyone for supporting. And once I'm more settled, then hopefully we'll have more funny clips like correspondence from the fields. I'm very interested to see it. I want to go take it a step further, Sly, and you do like correspondence from the field, and we have like video clips of people in like rival wings, and they're like, well, the PvP out here is looking kind of shitty right now, so everyone's just attacking each other in the lanes, and no one's going for the towers. So that's what's going on out here. How about you back at State of the Realm? And we'll be like, all right, well, it sounds like things are going about as expected and as they did in Shatter, you know.
Yeah. So let's see what's going on in the world first race. Let's see what's going on with Fold via Twitter. And it's just more memes.
Fold's gonna be a regular on the show, and he didn't even ask.
Yeah, pretty much. No.
All right, so with that out of the way, we're going to move on over into the post-show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. We will see you next week, or hopefully we have a world-first show like we were supposed to have this week. Beat the fucking fight, guys. Hurry up. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right, we good.